Hi everyone, so this will be my review on the LUSH Snow Fairy 4-wick scented candle. The size of this is 14.9 ounces or 425 grams. My batch code lists 119529. The retail price of this is $50 USD. However, I purchased mine on sale during Boxing Day for 50% off, meaning that I got this for $25 USD before any sales tax. And this has the iconic bubblegum cotton candy scent that is known especially throughout Christmas time. It has come back for several years, and I'm sure it will continue to return. And if you were to ask me, is this similar to other Snow Fairy scented products? I would say yes. However, I find that this is a little bit less cloyingly sweet that some of the body care items can be. Like a little bit of the Snow Fairy body spray that could be a little bit much if you overspray, whereas the candle, it's a little bit more toned down. The first Snow Fairy candle came out, I believe, in 2022. However, it came out in two sizes, whereas in 2023, it only came out in the larger format. So you were not able to purchase a single wick because they didn't bring back that format. So the one that was discontinued was a single wick, and it was in a 2.6 ounce, and it sold for $18 USD. And this one had a burn time of 12 to 15 hours. The information listed on the candle reads, just like all of our products, our candles are made with beautiful, ethically sourced essential oils, plus using a natural base of rapeseed, coconut, and castor waxes, means they're palm-free, GM-free, soy-free, and 100% vegan. This 4-wick candle fills your home with waves of cotton candy, scrumptiousness, and has a 34 to 40 hour burn time. Made in the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland. It lists benefits and it says made with natural wax base, fills home with fragrance, I don't know about that, 35 to 40 hour burn time, and it says the beautiful frosted glass is reusable or 100% recyclable. This is listed on the website, which I think is weird because the glass is definitely not frosted, so I don't know if they didn't update it from last year. And then, of course, it says how to use. Remove all packaging before lighting and keep wicks trimmed to 1/4 inch at a time or all times. Refer to the label for full instructions. And I really appreciate that it says use within 14 months of purchase. And can I just say that I love this because other companies that make all natural candles don't always disclose manufacturer or expiration dates. So I love the transparency that Lush has here. Granted, it's not listed, I think, on the candle. I found this information listed on the website. And this candle has no lid. Instead, there is a clear sticker, which is my first major issue with this candle. So let me go ahead and show you now that I have removed it. It's right here. It's like a sticky mess. I hate this. And you're asking yourself, why don't you like the sticky lid? And I would say because people in store were lifting them up and it was just creating a big issue because since it's like a sticker, it tends to cling on to clothing, your fingers, and then it leaves like fingerprint marks, and it's just not the best idea that I think Lush could have come up with. It makes more sense to make a metal lid that you could potentially put back onto the candle once you are done extinguishing the flame and the wax has fully cooled down. And also you can recycle the metal lid, and also it keeps the dust away. Whereas this one, I have to keep this sticky lid mess thing, whatever you want to call it, if I want to put it back on the candle. Heck, even a paper lid, like a dust cover, I think that would have been better than this hot mess. So I think this is the worst candle lid or makeshift lid I have ever encountered. So that's another reason why I have been burning this candle. Also, because it's 50% off right now, anyone who's interested, I kind of want to give you my thoughts and opinions. So the sticker label or lid, whatever you want to call it, also states that after 4 hours, the wicks will need trimming to 1/4 of an inch. And when I read this, I thought, excuse me, how am I supposed to trim these wicks after 4 hours if the candle hasn't fully pulled out? So there is a constant unburnt wax clinging to the sides or to the rim of the glass. And I think it would look a lot worse had I not trimmed or had I trimmed the wicks the first few burns that I had this candle lit. I didn't. However, after my maybe third burn or so, there was very minimal residue, wax residue on the sides, and I did in fact give it a trim. But I was a little bit reluctant at first because it just wasn't fully pulling out, and I left it burning, if I'm being completely transparent, once for like 5-6 hours, and it still hadn't pulled out. Hi everyone, so this is my second burn of the Snow Fairy candle from Lush. This is their new 4-wick format. So I have some bad news, if you can't already tell just by looking at the candle. Currently I'm on my 4th hour burn, so the candle hasn't fully pulled out. Long story short, I have a feeling that the wax never fully liquefies, either because of the container or the wax formula itself. If you can see, there's a lot of leftover wax clinging on. I'll use this chopstick to kind of demonstrate. If you see right there, oh yeah. Typically I use this to fix wicks that are falling over, but if you can see, like, there's a lot of cling on right here. Typically around this time you should be able to see like a good chunk of wax liquefied. I'm gonna go ahead, turn this candle a little bit so you can kind of see. Also, I notice with a lot of natural wax formulas that the burn that you get isn't always going to be the same strength and throw. There's going to be inconsistencies, which I found that I kind of don't really like. I feel like with paraffin, pretty much what you get is what you get, until sometimes, especially around the midway mark, it gets sooty. You know, a candle can develop puny wicks. But going back to the Snow Fairy one, I'm going to go ahead, slowly turn it, and you might be able to see what I'm talking about. Also, another thing that's happening is that I am noticing a bit of sooting emitting from this candle, visible soot that typically I don't normally see from a candle with natural wax. It's not super detrimental. We're not talking about like smoke signals coming from the candle, but it is noticeable, and the wax isn't even burning too strong. So there's that, which I don't particularly like. Initially, during the first burn, I noticed that it was pretty strong. I think it was the strongest burn out of that one compared to this burn. So yeah, there's that. I feel like it's not going to be as strong as that initial burn. It's been said that Yankee Candle tops their candles, so instead of putting all the fragrance oils at the bottom of the candle, once you're almost done with the candle, they put it at the top so that your first burn is going to have a lot of fragrance oils and be very strong and scented, whereas the more and more you burn it, it won't be. But let me go ahead, turn this candle so if you can see. So with 4 hours of burning, I would expect my wax pull to be a lot deeper than this. If you could see, you can see the wick right there. And as I'm turning this, you can notice that it's very uneven. So this wax pull is larger than this one right here. It goes up. So it was not able to fully pull out within the first burn. If you could see right here, there's the wax clean on. So I'm not sure why, because the first time I had burned this candle, I let it can you believe I let this burn for 6 hours and it still didn't fully pull out? There was a lot of wax clinging onto the sides. I wasn't burning it in an uneven surface. It's basically where I keep all my other candles burning, especially right here. So I think I might have to tinfoil this. I don't have a hurricane, which if you're in the candle community, it's basically a vessel where you put a candle that you're having trouble with, and it's able to amp up the scent a little bit and also help retain more heat so that it burns a little bit stronger. So there is that. Let me finish turning this over, and then I'll maybe change the angle so you could see an overhead view of how this Snow Fairy candle is looking. But so far, second burn, I'm not really impressed. I wouldn't recommend it. Only if you really love Snow Fairy and you want this for like a collector purpose situation, but otherwise I think there's a lot of vendor wax on Etsy, or you can stick to the Snow Fairy melt, which I haven't reviewed that and I haven't burned it yet. I really wanted to burn the candle first because it is still available for the Boxing Day sale, or also known as the freshness sale, for half off, so retail price $25. Okay, so here we go. This is a different angle of the Lush Snow Fairy candle. If you can see, the wicks aren't really strong and healthy. They're teetering on puny wicks, but not quite there. I would say the flames are very low, so it could be that's another reason why the wax hasn't fully liquefied. I want to make a note that I haven't trimmed my wicks at all, so it wasn't an issue of over trimming my wicks or anything like that. And if you can see on the sides, especially like right here, there is a lot of wax clean onto the sides. Typically around this point, you're not able to like hold this candle. It's supposed to be like really hot, but right now I could honestly like keep my hands kind of cupping this candle, and yeah, it just feels a little bit warm. It's like a hand pocket warmer, but so I have a feeling that either it's the vessel that's an issue or it's the wax formula, or heck, it could be the wicks because right now the wicks aren't doing the best. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and maybe extinguish this candle because I don't like having a candle burning on for or going on for too long. So I'm going to do that, maybe burn it 2 more times or maybe once more, and then I'll do my final thoughts on what I think about this candle. Okay, so while burning, besides the first burn, which was, I believe, the strongest, and I feel like I loved the scent during that first burn, I kind of believe that there's a belief rumor saying that some candle companies put all the fragrance or put the majority of the fragrance oils at the top, and I feel like this might be the case because for some reason my first burn, I feel like it was the most strong, it had the most projection, and then I feel like in my subsequent burns it hasn't been that strong. So I'm not sure what's the reason for that, but I'm kind of having that in the back of my mind. But to go back to the strength of this candle, I would say that it's anywhere from low to medium. So maybe like a 4 or 5 out of 10. But one thing that I find with this type of natural, 100% natural waxes is that I don't get a consistent burn in terms of strength and throw. So this could be that it's not a Lush problem, it's just a natural wax problem. And for me, I think I could get more strength out of spraying the Snow Fairy body spray. I wouldn't say that this candle, even though it's 4 wicks, I wouldn't say it's suited for an open concept. And this scent does not linger for hours after extinguishing. I think it doesn't even last 30 minutes after extinguishing. So maybe a small office space would be the best environment, or a small bedroom. I burned this in my bedroom, which is medium size, and that was the strength level I was getting, from like low medium to barely a medium. Right now the wax has fully pulled out. If you can see the video, you can see the deep wax pull that almost reaches all the way towards the bottom. I am in my 5th or 6th burn, or maybe 7th, and I'm only 2 hours into this burn. So that is much different from the clip that I think I would have inserted like a little bit before, where it was my 2nd or 3rd burn and it just wasn't pulling out all the way to the edges. I'll show you a top or an overhead view just so that you can compare the two. Right now, lovely wax pull. I wish it was like this a little bit before I had reached that midway mark, but oh well. So I want to make a note that it could be that the wax left over on the sides will autocorrect during the halfway mark, although it's a little bit unfortunate that you have to wait for that point for it to do that. And I think that the wax has liquefied more, probably because there isn't as much wax to melt. Right now, the flame is very close to the wax and it tends to burn a little bit hotter once you are getting closer down to the wick clips. And I do want to make a note that the scent has slightly changed and has turned a little bit more of that medicinal cotton candy scent instead of that powdery cotton candy scent that I got, especially during my first burn. It was so lovely and so strong. I miss it. But overall, these candles at the retail price are not worth it. I wouldn't say it's worth it for even 50% off. Maybe if Lush ever had a 75% off, I would consider it, but this is definitely not a repurchase. I think you're better off saving your money. There is talk that Lush will be discontinuing them because they were a part of the Boxing Day sale, even ones that were not in Snow Fairy scent, so they had other all year round scents. I'm a bit unsure if they will try to improve on them again and bring them back out or not, because of all of the candles were half off, and if you look at reviews on the website, they're not really that great. I think right now there's only 2 reviews and it's about a 3.9 star rating out of 5 stars. So that's not the best. Besides the candle not fully pulling out until maybe the midway mark, I have noticed that there was slight sooting, visible soot, which I don't necessarily always see in natural candles. I was a bit surprised because there are some paraffin soy blended candles that I burn for hours on end and I don't see much sooting. It could be that it was burning a little bit too hot the first few times, and it could have been that I needed to trim my wicks a little bit more, but then if I had trimmed my wicks, then the candle wouldn't have like the wax pull wouldn't have reached all the way towards the edge. I would also say that the flames sometimes turned a bit low to low medium, which normally I like seeing like very strong, large flames. Granted, that could equal more sitting, but I think that would have helped with the wax liquefying. And I would say that the projection and strength of this candle are not consistent, which I don't necessarily like. Here is a quick overhead view. So overall, I would recommend sticking to the Lush aroma and bath melt in case you want to try out Snow Fairy in home fragrance. I would say that is your cheaper option and you don't have to deal with the soot issues and the burn issues that I at least experienced. Long story short, I would recommend to save your money and not to purchase the Lush candles. Please let me know if you have any questions, and thanks for watching. Okay, bye.